I am so excited for today's video. I am asked so many times about what negative painting is, and today's video is going to teach you start to finish exactly how to do it, and I'm going to really simplify it. I am hoping that each and every one of you that are watching this video will give it a try. Let me know if you do. This is something that I do on a regular basis when I'm painting. So there are many ways of doing this paint technique. However, today's video, I'm just breaking it down to the very simplest technique on how to do this. And we're going to be painting a floral arrangement, and I think you're going to enjoy it. Let me know if you painted it and how you did. So let's go over the supplies that we're going to use first. I am using the clay-based paint from Debis Design Diary. It is called DIY paint and absolutely love it. I use it on my furniture as well as incorporating it inside my artwork as well. It's just very highly pigmented. It's natural. There's only just a few ingredients in it, so very safe to use. There's no smells, no VOCs. So let's go over the colors. From left to right, I am using the Kissing Booth color, Cowgirl Coral, Blood Moon, and then Cherry Picked is the darkest color that I'm going to be using. The brush I'm using is a Filbert number 18 by Master's Touch. Take note as to how long the handle is on this brush, because we are talking about putting in this background which needs to be just loose and kind of free-flowing. So grabbing yourself a long-handled brush like this is really going to help keep you loose. I also want you to notice how far back I am holding that handle. I'm clear back at the end of it for this. I want you to just go into this first layer, and I just want you to have fun with it, really. I don't want you to think about composition. I don't want you to think about the colors getting muddy, because right now the colors, if you notice, that we're using, they're all a little bit warmer. These are colors that I can blend together very well, so I know they're not going to get extremely muddy on me. So even though all the colors are wet as I'm layering them in, they're just going to stay pretty vibrant. There won't be that muddy consistency that people talk about. So I started with the darkest color, which was Cherry Picked, and then my next color was the Blood Moon, and now I'm applying the lightest color in value, which is called Cowgirl Coral. And I will finish up on the next layer with the brightest one, which is the Kissing Booth. Now, as I'm layering these colors, I'm not really thinking about anything other than just putting the brush strokes in. I want to see movement, okay? I want to see the brush strokes. I don't want it to be real smoothie, blendy, okay? I want those strokes to show through. Something else that I'm concerned about on this layer, and only concerned about, is the contrast that I'm going to have too. So the color, the brush strokes, the movement, and I'm wanting contrast. So that's really all I'm going for. Okay, and next I am grabbing the color bead board. This is just a nice clean white, and I am applying it to, yet again, just to define more of the depth and the texture and all the things here. So really what I'm doing, I'm just kind of going back and forth with the colors. I typically like the darker colors to lay in that background color, but as I've been viewing this, I felt like it wasn't quite dark enough. So I'm going just back in. I'm grabbing those darker colors once again. And here I'm grabbing even the darkest from the DIY paint line called Little Black Dress. that is even going to make it a bit deeper. So, I mean, you have room to play. Don't overthink this. Just kind of go with your instincts as you're building the color and the layers. So remember, we're just talking about, we're looking for depth, we're looking for movement, and we're looking for some texture here. So there I go again. I'm just grabbing those lighter colors, lighter and brighter now, so that I get that contrast that I really am wanting. I'm going ahead and taking my brush and loading it up pretty well and just splashing it against my hand. I'm hitting that against my hand, causing these splashes. Just being, again, playful, and it's just really about throwing those colors on there. We're not worried about anything like the composition, again, as I said earlier. Just adding colors, having fun, being playful. We do want to just basically make sure we have those variations of colors, texture, and movement. So as you can see, using my knife again, definitely you can see the movement and some lines that are added from the knife itself. So it kind of looks like a mess right now, but I am going to be teaching you how to bring this to a cohesive finish. So at this point, you want to make sure it's completely dry because we have all those warm colors on there. Now we're going to cross over to the cool colors. This is where the fun starts. So I'm grabbing two colors, the darkest blue tone. It's actually it's called Bohemian Blue, and it's actually a very beautiful deep teal. So I'm starting with that, and what I'm doing is the negative painting. So what I'm doing is I am painting the negative space. So what that means is you're kind of going to see the flowers, the shape of the flowers evolve around the shadows that I'm creating in the background, okay? And I'm trying to think about the shape that I want. So I'm going to do a floral, so I need to put my vase in there. So I'm just kind of going in quickly and not overthinking it, just a simple kind of a square shape. Again, this is for anybody, any level. This is a great way for you to learn negative painting. So just take these basic shapes and give it a try on a piece of canvas that you have at home or even paper. Notice I'm going into the middle here, and that is because when you look at floral arrangements, the depth and the darkest parts are right inside the middle of the flower arrangement, okay? So that's why I'm doing that, and I'm kind of looking around at it at this point, and I'm trying to decipher in my mind where I want the light and where I want the dark to be. So I'm kind of studying it as I'm laying in the colors, and right now I am just kind of deciding that I think that lighter point is going to be up in that the furthest right corner, and then down in my lower left corner is going to be my darkest. So I'm going to keep it a little bit lighter. There I go. I'm dipping in to the old 57. This is my favorite color, by the way. And I'm going to define the shape of the vase just a bit. Notice as I'm filling this in, I'm not just completely covering it solid. I'm letting some of that underpainting shine through, which kind of just gives it some interest and texture and all that. Again, I'm going on the left side. I added a little bit of a darker line on the left side, reminding me that that's where my shadow is going to be, okay? Going in with that old 57 up on that right corner, and there is my light source. So my light source is going to come in from that corner, and it's going to fade to the left. It's going to get darker as I go into the left side. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I build this painting forward here. Really, really easy, basic steps here to follow, so I hope you give it a try. I'm going back in and I'm thinking about the shape of my vase, and I'm deciding here that I think I want to go a little more rounded, so I'm going to just kind of rework that shape. So you do have some room to play when you're building this composition up. And just, I'm going to go back in here in a second as I remember where my darkest side is and my shadows, which is on the left, and my lighter side is going to be over on the right side. But right now I'm just adding shadows. Notice darker right under the flowers, and then boom, I grab that Old 57, that brightest color, and I pop it on that right side. That's going to be my brightest, lightest area on the vase. So I want to make sure that I keep that light source pretty bright right there. Okay, I'm going to grab that aviary, which is just a beautiful, beautiful green, and I'm just using my fingers because I know this paint is just completely natural and safe. I can just put my hands right in there, and I am popping in just really just shapes of abstraction that give this illusion of the leaf shape. So you don't have to be very literal when you do this. Popping in little hints of the turquoise, that Old 57, that's throwing in little highlights. So remember, when you do highlight items, it does not have to be, you don't have to think like actual white to highlight. It's anything that is like a lighter value. So I went in with that, the lighter value of Old 57, which is much lighter, and highlighting with that. And I am adding some depth to the flower shapes. Those flower shapes are there. And so now I'm going in just with my fingers and putting just some really quick swoops. And so it's going to give those flowers, like it has those layers of petals that flowers have, using the same colors. Okay, so you're just going in on top of what you already have, adding a little bit of definition. Notice I'm not overworking it, so it's still pretty much in that kind of abstraction that we get from painting, doing the negative painting. But there I'm going in right now with a pop of white, and boom, I'm just hitting that brightest corner right there where that light is hitting. So let's say if it's possibly a vase that is glass and it has some reflection, that white is really going to pop right there. That's going to really show where the light source is coming from. And I'm going in on that same side, adding a few more strokes of light to the flowers. So right now I'm taking the darkest color, so that little black dress, and I'm taking it directly under the vase. So the vase sits on the shadow, and we're going to pull that shadow clear out to the left and kind of fade it out into the background there. And that's something you want to make sure that you do when you're creating a still life or anything like this. You want to make sure that you do ground it. It needs to look like it's sitting on a table or a surface, so that it's not looking like it's just floating aimlessly in the air. Okay, so adding a little bit of highlight here. And now I'm going to clean my brush, and I am going to flip that brush over, and I'm going to use the back side, that handle, and I'm going to use it to do a little bit of mark making inside the paint strokes. And this is going to just bring out some detail of the leaves. It's also going to make it look like it has different twigs and stems and things like that. Now for Carnival Red, this is exciting because it's the last part. However, it's probably the most exciting because it's the brightest. Whenever you're using a bright red like this, it is going to pop forward. It kind of pops off the page. So you can just see the littlest bit that I'm using, but it's going to make a really big impact. So I'm just adding little bits of it here and there, just kind of throughout the leaves. So pretty. Give it a try. I would love to know If you're going to try this, if you've watched this all the way through, I would love to see your work. And by all means, I would love to have you inside the Creators Club where we learn all kinds of techniques such as this and more. And I also offer retreats and classes both locally and throughout the United States. Find all the information you need in the description below about the Creators Club, the products used in this video, as well as retreats and classes near you.